corrupt cops getting caught, knife attacks, cops getting shot. These are just a few things we'll cover in the upcoming Iceberg. Keeping in line with the structure of an iceberg with relatively lighter cases at the top and the dark, depraved side at the bottom. Surface level, top of the iceberg. Girl cries hysterically after she's arrested for DUI. On the evening of September 15, 2023, an ordinary night took an unexpected turn for a young woman identified as Merritt. The encounter started with Officer Westman pulling Merritt over due to a failure to use a turn signal and other erratic driving behavior.
Okay. You didn't use your turn signal. Then you almost hit a curb. Then you made a left-hand turn here onto A Street, again not using your turn signal.
As the interaction unfolded, Officer Westman observed blood on Merritt's hand, prompting concern and inquiries about her well-being. The situation became more tense as Officer Westman requested Merritt's identification, registration, and insurance. Amidst the usual exchange during a traffic stop, Merritt's emotional state became apparent. She revealed personal reasons for the blood on her hand, creating an added layer of complexity to the unfolding events. As Officer Westman continued his investigation, he noticed signs of potential intoxication, such as the smell of alcohol and Merritt's demeanor. The turning point occurred when Officer Westman suggested voluntary field sobriety tests, a moment that heightened Merritt's anxiety. The young woman expressed apprehension about the tests, questioning their voluntariness and seeking clarification about the consequences of refusal. Officer Westman, adhering to protocol, eventually made the decision to place Merritt under arrest for operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol. The arrest procedure, captured by Officer Westman's body camera, revealed Merritt's heightened emotional state. She expressed fear and disbelief at the unfolding events, questioning the grounds for her arrest. Her boyfriend, who was present at the scene, provided additional context, explaining that Merritt had experienced a challenging night emotionally. As Merritt was taken into custody, her boyfriend inquired about the next steps and expressed concern for her well-being. The officers reassured him and explained the process, including the potential release within 6 hours, provided Merritt had no prior DUI or outstanding warrants. The emotional intensity of the situation escalated as Merritt continued to resist the arrest, expressing fear and confusion. Her emotions, a mix of frustration, fear, and disbelief, were palpable in the interaction with the officers. The emotional turmoil was further heightened by Merritt's revelation that she'd been cutting herself earlier in the night. Once inside the police vehicle, Merritt's emotions continued to fluctuate, revealing the profound impact of the night's events on her mental state. The conversation between Merritt and the officers showcased the delicate nature of handling individuals in distress and the challenges faced by law enforcement in navigating such situations. As the DUI investigation progressed, Merritt was subjected to a breathalyzer test, a pivotal moment that further intensified her emotional distress. The process, though routine in DUI arrests, took a toll on Merritt, who pleaded for a swift resolution and the opportunity to return home. The aftermath of the arrest involved Officer Westman processing paperwork, providing Merritt with information about upcoming court appearances, and outlining the conditions of her release. Merritt's emotional state remained fragile, and her reaction to the prospect of attending court later that day underscored the challenges she would face. In hindsight, the events of that night serve as a poignant reminder of the profound impact of a single decision on an individual's life. Merritt's emotional struggles, revealed during the traffic stop and subsequent arrest, highlighted the need for empathy and understanding in law enforcement interactions, particularly when individuals are in distress. The story goes beyond a routine DUI arrest. It delves into the complexities of human emotions, mental health, and the challenges faced by both law enforcement officers and the individuals they encounter. Merritt's journey that night from a routine traffic stop to a DUI arrest serves as a stark illustration of the far-reaching consequences of personal decisions and the emotional toll it can take on those involved. Alarming child neglect incident results in parent's arrest. In a deeply troubling incident recently reported, an officer from the Valuer County Sheriff's Office responded to a distressing call involving a child found neglected in a driveway. The responding officer, having dealt with a similar situation involving the same child before, exhibited commendable professionalism and care. The child, seemingly unfazed by the perilous situation, was safely brought into the patrol car, providing a brief respite from potential harm. Witnesses, troubled by the child's vulnerability, provided statements detailing the circumstances leading to the distress call. Despite the officer's patience, the parents remained unresponsive, prompting growing concern for the child's safety. When the parents finally emerged, their lackadaisical attitude was immediately apparent. Claiming they were merely sleeping, they exhibited a shocking lack of concern for their child, who was found with a severely soiled diaper. The officer's quick decision to address the immediate danger underscored the gravity of the situation. What unfolded next was a disturbing revelation of the parents' repeated neglect, as the child had been involved in a similar incident before. Frustrated by the parents' nonchalant behavior, the officer decided to take decisive action, informing them of their arrest for child neglect. The parents, astonishingly indifferent to the severity of the incident, questioned the arrest, revealing a concerning lack of remorse. As the officer took the parents into custody, the child was entrusted to the care of the State Department of Children and Families. Identified as 28-year-old Yagira Tado and 25-year-old Jacob Kruger, the parents were booked into the Valua County Branch Jail on a $5,000 bond. This distressing case serves as a stark reminder of the critical role law enforcement plays in safeguarding vulnerable children and holding negligent parents accountable for their actions. The incident underscores the urgent need for increased awareness of responsible parenting and the potential consequences of neglect. Society must remain vigilant, advocating for the well-being of children and ensuring that those entrusted with their care fulfill their fundamental responsibilities. Middle level, intermediate layers. Mayor Tom Henry's corruption scandal unveiled. In the heart of Fort Wayne, Indiana, amidst the dark shadows of political corruption, Mayor Tom Henry's misdeeds came to light through an unexpected lens, the lens of a police officer's body camera. What began as a straightforward car crash involving the mayor took an ominous turn when his erratic behavior and dubious actions became apparent. As the footage reveals, Mayor Henry's initial encounter with the attending officers set the stage for a narrative that would shake the foundations of trust in public officials. Fumbling through identification, he raised eyebrows by substituting his health insurance card for the required driver's license and insurance. Little did he know that these actions were mere harbingers of a more sinister plot. The turning point occurred when Mayor Henry, tasked with investigating an abandoned vehicle, betrayed the public's trust by pocketing a bottle of pills, seizing $1,100 in cash and another bottle of pills, all of which he conveniently failed to report. The integrity test laid bare a blatant misuse of power and a lack of ethical conduct unbefitting of a public servant. The officers, caught between their duty and the looming specter of repercussions, hesitated as they detained the mayor. This hesitation, indicative of the power dynamics at play, underscored the gravity of the situation. Mayor Henry, exploiting his position, attempted to manipulate the narrative by requesting special treatment for his sick wife and invoking his status as the mayor. However, the veil of corruption was further lifted when a breathalyzer test revealed Mayor Henry's blood alcohol concentration to be 0.15, nearly twice the legal limit. His attempts to downplay the situation and resist arrest showcased a sense of entitlement that was both shocking and disconcerting. The true climax unfolded as Mayor Henry, in handcuffs and facing charges, desperately pleaded for the officers to stop recording. This moment of vulnerability and entitlement, captured by the unyielding gaze of the body camera, underscored the importance of technology in exposing the truth. In the aftermath, a plea agreement was reached, imposing financial penalties and legal consequences on Mayor Henry. This incident stands as a stark reminder that even those in positions of authority are not immune to the consequences of their actions. Mayor Tom Henry's corruption scandal, unveiled by the unblinking eye of a body camera, serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of accountability, transparency, and the role of technology in exposing the truth. Las Vegas student slammed to the ground. In the noon of February 9th, a police officer slammed a high school student to the ground. Nearly a year after the incident unfolded, the bodycam footage surfaced, unraveling a sequence of events that began with officers detaining two students under the suspicion of possessing a weapon. The chilling footage reveals the escalation of tension as the situation unfolded, ultimately leading to the forceful takedown of one of the students. The officer's rationale for the detention was rooted in the student's failure to walk away from the scene, despite the absence of any discovered weapons. The video opens a window into the complexities of law enforcement and the delicate balance between maintaining public safety and protecting individual rights. As the footage circulates online, debates ignite over the appropriateness of the officer's actions and the underlying issues of excessive force and the school-to-prison pipeline. Viewers dissect the video frame by frame, scrutinizing the officer's behavior and the students' responses, amplifying the broader conversation about police accountability and the need for reform. Disturbing as it may be, the incident becomes a focal point for discussions on the power dynamics at play in such encounters. Advocacy groups and individuals alike seize upon the footage as a catalyst for demanding transparency, policy changes, and increased accountability within law enforcement agencies. The incident sheds light on the impact of bodycam footage as a tool for both accountability and advocacy, forcing a re-evaluation of the relationship between those in authority and the communities they serve. As we navigate the surface level of this disturbing bodycam footage, the Las Vegas incident serves as a stark reminder of the responsibility that comes with wielding authority. It beckons us to question the fine line between maintaining order and resorting to excessive force, urging society to engage in critical conversations about the systems in place and the changes needed to foster a safer and more just environment. The iceberg's descent into the depths of disturbing bodycam footages has only just begun, and with each layer, the narratives become more enigmatic, revealing the multifaceted nature of these incidents and the lasting impact they leave on individuals and communities. MTSU police officer's own bodycam helps convict him in corruption case. Marco Burks, a former MTSU police officer whose actions were laid bare by the very device designed to ensure accountability, the body-worn camera. The saga begins with a missing AR-15, prompting Chief Buddy Paster to suspect that corruption lurks within their own ranks. In response, an elaborate sting operation was devised. A bait car, hidden cameras, and Officer Burke sent alone to investigate an abandoned vehicle on campus. Little did he know that this routine assignment was in fact an integrity test, a cunning ruse to see how he would react when tempted. The hidden cameras captured a startling sequence. As Burke approached the deserted vehicle, he surreptitiously pocketed a bottle of pills, followed by the brazen theft of $1,100 in cash and another bottle of pills. The subsequent radio report to dispatch was a mere facade. Nothing unusual, just an unoccupied vehicle. Back in his squad car, the sounds of shuffling papers hinted at a possibly incriminating act, counting the ill-gotten money. The pivotal question arose. Would Burke report these items as part of the inventory taken from the abandoned car? The answer was a resounding no. The consequences were swift. Burke found himself under arrest, facing the stark reality of his actions. From the confines of Rutherford County Jail, he made a call to his wife, marking the beginning of the unraveling of a once respected officer's life. The hidden cameras set for the sting offered a distant view of Burke at the car, but it was the bodycam footage that played the most crucial role during that trial. Why would he leave the camera on, exposing his misdeeds to the unforgiving lens of justice? Perhaps it was a habit, a routine born out of training that betrayed him in a moment of moral weakness. As the legal proceedings unfolded, prosecutors probed Burke about the missing AR-15. Despite vehement denials, he was never formally charged, and the weapon's whereabouts remain a mystery. Chief Paster, however, sees the sting as a resounding success, an exposure of corruption within the ranks, a betrayal of the trust bestowed upon law enforcement officers. The narrative of Marco Burke serves as a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that the thin blue line can sometimes blur into shades of corruption. The intended guardian of justice became the perpetrator, and the body-worn camera, a device meant to bring transparency, turned into the harbinger of his downfall. As Burke faces the prospect of spending 3 to 15 years behind bars, his story raises broader questions about the efficacy of internal checks and balances within law enforcement agencies. It prompts us to reflect on the constant tension between those sworn to uphold the law and the allure of misconduct that can tarnish the badge. In the ever-evolving landscape of policing, this tale underscores the imperative for vigilance, accountability, and a robust commitment to weeding out those who betray the public trust. The body-worn camera, a silent witness to both valor and vice, continues to shape the narrative of justice in our modern society. Shooting that killed California officer. Next, a haunting incident unfolds in San Luis Obispo, California. The video, described by the San Luis Obispo Police Department as deeply disturbing, exposes the aftermath of a search warrant gone awry at an apartment complex on Camellia Court. The incident, which occurred on May 10, 2021, resulted in the death of Detective Luca Benedetti, injuries to Detective Steve Orozco, and the death of Edward Gyron, who fired the fatal shots. According to Police Chief Rick Scott, officers had been alerted to signs of paranoia and skepticism of law enforcement exhibited by Gyron long before the tragic event. The footage takes us back to July 2020, when officers conducted a welfare check on Gyron, finding him not in distress. A family member later reported the possible presence of a firearm in Gyron's apartment, prompting a visit by officers who at the time lacked a search warrant. The turning point arrived in 2021 when the police department was investigating a series of commercial burglaries linked to a light-colored GMC Envoy. The fourth targeted business identified Gyron as a former employee. With this information, a judge approved a search warrant for Gyron's apartment. The video unfolds as officers Benedetti, Orozco, and others approach Gyron's apartment at 5:13 p.m. on May 10th. Knocking on the door and attempting to use a key provided by the apartment manager yielded no response. Benedetti called Gyron's name, yet the officers hesitated to enter, choosing instead to wait outside. Suddenly, a gunshot echoes and chaos ensues. The first shot proves fatal, claiming Detective Benedetti's life. The video redacts the tragic moment, but the aftermath is marked by officers yelling, "Shots fired," and scrambling for cover as Gyron continues firing from inside the apartment. Gyron, having taken Benedetti's rifle, emerges onto the stairwell, firing at officers. Detective Orozco is injured in the ensuing crossfire, and Gyron retreats back into his apartment. The bodycam footage captures the intensity of the exchange, with officers returning fire at Gyron. After the chaotic shootout subsides, the video shows officers discovering Detective Benedetti dead at the top of the apartment stairs outside Gyron's door. Benedetti's rifle, now in Gyron's possession, had been used to inflict a fatal self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head. Detective Orozco, injured but alive, is transported to the hospital for treatment. As we grapple with this disturbing bodycam footage, the narrative intertwines tragedy with the complexities of law enforcement's response to a mentally ill individual. The incident prompts reflection on the challenges officers face when dealing with individuals with mental health issues and the delicate balance between ensuring public safety and preserving life. Police Chief Rick Scott acknowledges the gravity of the situation, emphasizing the department's commitment to transparency and openness. The release of the video aims to facilitate an open and transparent dialogue, acknowledging the devastating loss of Detective Benedetti and the enduring impact on the community. This entry forces us to confront the somber realities that law enforcement grapples with daily, delving into the nuanced dynamics that influence their decision-making in high-stakes situations. Suspect fatally shot by Huntington officer. Next, a sobering incident emerges from Huntington. This entry delves into the details surrounding the fatal shooting of Ahmad Abdullah, a 25-year-old from Detroit, Michigan, by Huntington Police Department's Corporal Keith McSweeney on July 3, 2023. The Huntington Police Department has taken an unprecedented step in transparency, releasing both video and audio recordings of the incident. Corporal Keith McSweeney, the officer involved, was immediately placed on leave with pay, adhering to the department's critical incident policy. The incident unfolded in response to a distressing call around 1:40 p.m. in the 400 block of 14th Street in Huntington, where Abdullah allegedly threatened to shoot the caller and blow up a house in the area. As the first officer on the scene, McSweeney confronted Abdullah, who purportedly did not cooperate and claimed to possess a gun. In a grave escalation, Abdullah proceeded to charge at McSweeney, leading to the officer discharging his weapon in response. McSweeney then rendered immediate medical aid to Abdullah until emergency medical services or EMS arrived. Despite these efforts, Abdullah succumbed to his injuries after being transported to a local hospital. Remarkably, McSweeney emerged unharmed from the incident. Huntington Police Chief Phil Watkins provided additional context to the incident, emphasizing that the decision to release video footage, audio recordings, and the officer's name aligns with the department's commitment to transparency. Watkins acknowledged the family's grief, recognizing the loss of a loved one, and expressed the importance of uncovering the truth to facilitate the healing process. The bodycam footage and audio provided a first-hand account of the tense encounter between McSweeney and Abdullah. The initial call, the suspect's alleged threats, and the subsequent charging incident unfold in a matter of minutes, showcasing the rapid escalation that officers must navigate in crisis situations. McSweeney's actions, both in discharging his weapon and providing medical aid, highlight the complexities faced by law enforcement officers in balancing public safety with preserving life. The transparency exhibited by the Huntington Police Department, from releasing the officer's name to sharing the incident recordings, aims to foster public trust by allowing a comprehensive understanding of the circumstances. As we confront the middle level of this disturbing bodycam footage, the implications are profound. The incident in Huntington serves as a poignant reminder of the difficult decisions law enforcement officers must make in split-second moments, grappling with the potential threat posed by an individual who claims to be armed. The release of the recordings and the department's commitment to transparency underscore the evolving landscape of public accountability for law enforcement actions. It invites public scrutiny, but also serves as a means to build trust through open dialogue and a clear presentation of the facts. The case of Corporal Keith McSweeney, placed on leave as per departmental policy, reflects an acknowledgement of the occupational stress and trauma exposure experienced by officers in such situations. The emphasis on mental health support, evaluation, and certification before an officer's return to duty reflects a commitment to the well-being of those who serve and protect. This entry invites us to reflect on the inherent challenges of law enforcement, the importance of transparency in maintaining public trust, and the delicate balance between safeguarding the community and responding empathetically to individuals in crisis. Deeper middle level. Michigan man allegedly pulls young girl into bathroom. The echoes of a seemingly ordinary evening at a local department store were shattered on September 15, 2023, when a distressing incident unfolded involving a young girl, her family, and a shelter resident named Tom. What began as a routine shopping trip turned into a harrowing experience that not only left emotional scars, but also led to Tom's subsequent arrest. Around 6 p.m., the mother, whose name we later learned was Heather, was perusing the racks of clothes while her daughter and son explored nearby. Little did she know that the seemingly mundane shopping excursion would soon take a terrifying turn. The first indication of trouble came when Heather's son rushed over, breathless and alarmed, to inform her that a young man had attempted to pull his sister into the store's bathroom. The shock and urgency in his voice triggered Heather's maternal instincts, prompting her to rush to her daughter's aid. Heather found her daughter, whom we'll call Emily, inside the bathroom, desperately trying to escape, crying and clearly distressed. What Heather witnessed next would set the stage for a night filled with confusion, conflicting accounts, and the eventual involvement of law enforcement. Upon confronting the situation, Heather confronted the young man, identified as Tom, who was inside the bathroom with Emily. What transpired next became a battle of narratives, each party providing a different version of events that would later pose a significant challenge for authorities seeking the truth. Tom, claiming innocence and panicked about potential legal consequences, shared his side of the story with the responding officer. According to him, he was using the bathroom when Emily walked in on him, and in his haste to close the door, accidentally caused her harm. He emphasized that he had not attempted to harm or detain the young girl intentionally. On the other side of the coin, Emily, her brother, and Heather collectively presented a different perspective. According to them, Tom had deliberately attempted to pull Emily into the bathroom against her will, causing her visible distress and emotional trauma. To untangle the web of conflicting accounts, Officer Westman, the responding officer, diligently reviewed the store's security footage. The footage, though not entirely conclusive, added another layer to the narrative. It showed Tom entering the bathroom but did not capture the alleged attempt to pull Emily inside. Instead, it revealed a chaotic scene of Emily trying to exit the bathroom while Tom was inside, adding more complexity to an already perplexing situation. Officer Westman, faced with inconsistent stories and limited visual evidence, conducted interviews with all parties involved. The anguish in Heather's voice as she recounted her daughter's distress and the shock in Tom's eyes as he faced the possibility of legal repercussions painted a complex picture of a night gone awry. During the interviews, Tom revealed he was on probation for a past misdemeanor assault charge. This information heightened the stakes for him, as a new arrest could jeopardize his probation status and potentially lead to more severe consequences. As the investigation progressed, Officer Westman faced the difficult task of deciding on a course of action. The evidence, while not conclusive, pointed towards the likelihood that Tom had, intentionally or not, caused emotional distress to Emily. The conflicting statements and the absence of a clear-cut scenario added an extra layer of difficulty to the decision-making process. In a dramatic turn of events, as Officer Westman was conveying the gravity of the situation to Tom, the emotional weight of potential consequences became palpable. Tom pleaded with desperation, expressing a fear of going to jail, emphasizing the challenges he believed he would face behind bars. As Officer Westman prepared to make an arrest, Tom's emotional state intensified. The fear in his eyes and the recognition that his actions had placed him in a perilous position unfolded in real time. He knew the repercussions of his past actions and was now confronted with the possibility of reliving a nightmare. The arrest itself was a tense moment, with Tom pleading for understanding and expressing his inability to cope with the prospect of incarceration. Heather, still grappling with the shock of the evening's events, watched as the consequences unfolded before her eyes. In the aftermath, Officer Westman, tasked with maintaining order and ensuring justice, had to address the concerns of both parties involved. Emily's emotional state required attention and care, while Tom's arrest raised questions about the delicate balance between ensuring public safety and considering an individual's past mistakes. As the night concluded, the echoes of a routine shopping trip lingered in the department store, now tainted by the disturbing events that had transpired. Officer Westman, Heather, Emily, and Tom each carried their own emotional burdens, a testament to the unpredictable nature of human interactions and the challenges faced by those tasked with maintaining law and order. The incident serves as a stark reminder that even in seemingly safe and mundane environments, the unexpected can occur. The delicate dance between justice and empathy played out in a department store on that fateful night, leaving a lasting impact on all those involved and underscoring the complexities of human behavior, the legal system, and the pursuit of truth in the face of conflicting narratives. Final moments of ODing patient discharged by doctor who said he was playing possum. We'll now look into the tragic final moments of Jean Decombe, a 26-year-old Oregon man, as he suffered from an overdose at Providence Milwaukee Hospital. The distressing incident unfolded on December 12th, revealing a series of events that raise questions about the adequacy of medical care and the handling of vulnerable individuals in crisis. Decombe came to the hospital's attention when he was found on Portland's TriMet Max train, covered in feces and moving slowly. Admitted to Providence Milwaukee Hospital, he received initial care including a shower, antibiotics for infections, and a limited amount of Narcan for mild opioid intoxication. Despite his troubled history and drug use disclosure, the hospital seemingly did not order a toxicology report or drug screening. Staff deemed Decombe a chronic problem, and the hospital decided he was ready for discharge. However, his behavior led to a call for police intervention at 9:45 p.m., as he was reportedly being difficult and refusing to leave the emergency department. Bodycam footage from Milwaukee Police Department revealed a distressing scene of Decombe slumped in a chair, groaning, drooling, with visible scabs and sores on his legs. An emergency department physician rather shockingly dismissed Decombe's condition as him playing possum and suggested that officers should drop him off at a bus stop. This decision, based on a presumption of faked symptoms, would have profound consequences. As police arrived, they observed Decombe in a compromised state, incapacitated and seemingly in distress. The hospital staff insisted that there was no medical reason for him to remain and framed the issue as purely behavioral. The physician's assertion that Decum was faking his symptoms clashed with the officer's concerns, setting the stage for a tragic turn of events. Despite being medically cleared, Decum had several warrants for his arrest, complicating the situation. The Clackamas County Jail refused to accept him if he couldn't walk or care for himself. Bodycam footage captured the officers pinning Decum down, handcuffing him, and placing him in a wheelchair. Recognizing his deteriorating condition, the officers opted to take him to another hospital, Uni Behavioral Medical Center in Portland, emphasizing his poor state. While waiting for staff to retrieve him, an officer grew concerned about Decum's breathing. Unable to confirm a pulse, the officers promptly uncuffed him and initiated CPR. Despite their efforts, Decum was declared dead at 11:31 p.m. The implications of this deeply distressing incident are far-reaching. The footage starkly reveals the critical intersection of medical care, law enforcement, and the vulnerabilities of individuals in crisis. The dismissive attitude of the hospital staff and the physician's presumption that Decum was feigning illness raises profound ethical questions about the duty of care owed to all patients, regardless of their circumstances. The officers, caught in a challenging situation, demonstrated genuine concern for Decum's well-being, challenging the narrative presented by the medical professionals. The hospital's refusal to readmit him, despite apparent signs of distress, paints a troubling picture of potential systemic failures in recognizing and addressing medical emergencies. The state medical examiner's determination that Decum died of a drug overdose and contributing natural causes adds complexity to the narrative. While the police officers were cleared of criminality, the incident prompts reflection on the need for improved collaboration between medical institutions, law enforcement, and the broader healthcare system to ensure comprehensive care for individuals grappling with substance abuse and mental health challenges. As we confront the deeper middle level of this disturbing body cam footage, it compels us to scrutinize existing protocols, advocate for compassionate and unbiased care, and explore avenues for better understanding and addressing the complexities surrounding the treatment of vulnerable individuals in our society. Trooper Timmy Williams seducing a motorist during traffic stop. In a shocking deviation from professional conduct, Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Timmy Williams found himself embroiled in a disturbing case of misconduct during a routine traffic stop. The unsuspecting Asian female motorist, initially pulled over for speeding, became the unwitting target of Trooper Williams' inappropriate advances, revealing a breach of trust and authority. As the traffic stop unfolded, Trooper Williams, entrusted with upholding the law, engaged in a series of deeply troubling actions. The trooper intentionally pretended his body microphone was malfunctioning, strategically leaving it charging in his car. This deceptive move set the stage for a sequence of inappropriate comments and advances that would unfold during the interaction. Despite the motorist's clear discomfort and attempts to steer the conversation towards a professional tone, Trooper Williams persisted in making suggestive remarks. His inquiries into the nature of the motorist's massages and repeated comments about her physical appearance showcased a blatant abuse of power and a departure from the expected professionalism within law enforcement. The woman's decision to secretly record the interaction provided irrefutable evidence of Trooper Williams' disturbing conduct. The trooper's attempts to justify his actions by claiming he sought a law enforcement discount seemed inconsistent with the recorded evidence, raising questions about the veracity of his statements. During the subsequent police interrogation, Trooper Williams struggled to explain his unprofessional conduct. His admission that the motorist's occupation played a role in the inappropriate dialogue raised serious questions about implicit biases within law enforcement and the potential misuse of power. Furthermore, the trooper's misguided attempts at humor and de-escalation only exacerbated the gravity of the situation, leaving an indelible stain on the integrity of law enforcement. The incident brought to light the vulnerability of individuals during routine interactions with those in positions of authority and the pressing need for transparency and accountability. Trooper Timmy Williams' egregious misconduct, exposed through the recorded interaction, serves as a stark reminder of the imperative for transparency and accountability within law enforcement. The incident underscores the vulnerability of individuals during routine interactions with those in positions of authority and raises questions about the need for ongoing training on professionalism and ethics. The swift termination of Trooper Williams emphasizes the commitment to maintaining the public's trust and upholding the principles of integrity within law enforcement agencies. This case stands as a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance and the use of technology to unveil misconduct, ensuring accountability and fostering a culture of professionalism and respect within the ranks of law enforcement. Cop-dragging attack near pro-Trump rioter who died. Delving deeper into the Capitol insurrection, the Justice Department has released harrowing police body camera footage that captures one of the most disturbing assaults during the event. In this incident, 3 officers identified by initials AW, CM, and others intervened to save a pro-Trump rioter, Roseanne Boyland, who was trampled by the mob. However, their noble act took a dark turn as they were stripped of their protective gear, dragged down a set of stairs, and violently attacked by rioters wielding crutches, flagpoles, batons, and bare hands.
Of rioters at the Capitol attacking a D.C. police officer. It shows these terrorists dragging the officer down the stairs, beating and stomping and smashing him with a pole flying the American flag.
In the body-worn camera footage, defendant Jack Whitten is seen leaping over a barricade, knocking AW down and attempting to wrestle away his baton. From AW's perspective on the ground, other rioters strike the police line with flagpoles and metal poles, and he pleads for help as he's dragged into the crowd. A man wearing a sheriff vest with affiliations to the 3 Percenters, an extremist group, pulls AW down the stairs. This individual, far from being part of the police defending the Capitol, is later identified as a person of interest in the assault on AW. The attack leaves AW hospitalized with staples in his head to stop the bleeding. Whitten faces charges including assault. Another officer, CM, attempts to aid his colleagues. In CM's bodycam footage, another officer is dragged into the crowd and Boyland is seen lying on the ground. This footage marks the first release of Boyland's death. Michael Lepattic rushes towards CM, attacking him and grabbing him by the head and punching him. CM's body cam is dislodged, revealing a splatter of blood. CM sustains a concussion that day, possibly exacerbated by a second assault later in the day. The Justice Department releases 2 body cam clips from another officer. One clip depicts the tug-of-war between the rioters and the officers trying to pull their colleague to safety. The officers are repeatedly assaulted with poles and stolen police batons. Another body cam clip recorded about 20 minutes later shows police in a second tunnel holding the line with riot shields while rioters throw objects hitting the shields. Whitten, identified as the instigator, is heard shouting at the police, "You're gonna die tonight," boasting later to friends that he fed him to the people, referring to the assaulted officer. The released body camera footage paints a vivid and unsettling picture of the brutality faced by law enforcement officers attempting to maintain order during the Capitol insurrection. The selfless act of attempting to aid a fellow citizen, even one participating in the riot, results in a violent and chaotic confrontation that showcases the extent of the aggression and the disregard for human life exhibited by certain rioters. The footage captures the relentless assault on the officers, with the mob resorting to a variety of weapons and physical force. The scenes of chaos, coupled with the verbal threats and insults hurled at the officers, reveal the deeply volatile and dangerous environment surrounding the Capitol on that fateful day. This entry sheds light on a disturbing episode from the Capitol insurrection, emphasizing the vulnerability of law enforcement officers even when attempting to render aid. The footage brings forth not only the physical dangers faced by those on the front lines, but also the targeted and intentional nature of the attacks. The identified individuals involved in the assaults, such as Whitten and Lepattic, face serious charges, yet the footage raises broader questions about the factors contributing to the violence and the mindset of those participating in the insurrection. The Justice Department's release of these videos serves as a crucial step towards accountability and transparency, allowing the public to witness the stark realities faced by law enforcement during this unprecedented event. This entry prompts a reflection on the broader implications of the Capitol insurrection, the consequences of political polarization, and the urgent need for a comprehensive understanding of the events that unfolded on January 6, 2021. It beckons us to confront the challenges of preserving democracy and the rule of law in the face of escalating tensions and the potential for violence. Bottom level, the abyss. Toddler on ventilator harmed in Ohio police raid. In the quiet town of Elyria, Ohio, the ominous deployment of exploding flashbangs during a police raid has triggered a series of events that have left a toddler on a ventilator traumatized. Body-worn camera footage released by Elyria Mayor Kevin Brubaker's office exposes the dramatic events of January 10th, raising concerns not only about the tactics employed, but also the potential negligence that resulted in harm to an innocent child. The raid was conducted as part of an ongoing investigation related to stolen guns recovered at a different location. While 2 juvenile suspects were apprehended earlier in the day, the police believe that additional stolen weapons were hidden at the residence where the toddler and his mother, Courtney Price, were residing. As the body-worn camera footage unfolds, the urgency and chaos of the raid become palpable. The footage from 8 officers' cameras captures the rapid pace of the operation. The police, armed with guns, a battering ram, and flashbangs, swiftly entered the home. For Price, who was alone with her son Waylon, the suddenness of the police presence left her bewildered. A knock at the door, a mistaken expectation of her uncle's visit, and then chaos ensued. From the footage, it's evident that the police were executing their duty in a high-stakes environment. However, the real tragedy unfolds when flashbangs, intended as a deliberate distraction, are deployed. The blinding lights and smoke that infiltrated the home not only shocked Price, but also left her son Waylon with severe injuries. Price recounts the traumatic experience, stating, "All I seen was lights flashing and smoke coming into the house." Waylon, diagnosed with chemical pneumonitis, a lung irritation caused by inhaling chemicals released by the flashbangs, suffered burns on his eyes, chest, arm, and neck. He struggled to breathe, leading to a harrowing medical emergency. Contrary to the police department's assertions that the devices do not deploy or contain any pepper gas or chemical agents, Waylon's condition indicates otherwise. A GoFundMe campaign initiated by Price's aunt, Redia Jennings, sheds light on Waylon's injuries and the subsequent medical expenses incurred. The child, now in stable condition at the University Hospital's Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital in Cleveland, faces a challenging recovery. In the aftermath, questions surround the validity of the search warrant and the necessity for such forceful tactics. Jennings, who has rented the home for the past year, asserts that the person the police were looking for had not lived at the residence for more than a year. The warrant, however, targeted the correct address, as confirmed by the Elyria Police Department. The body-worn camera footage captures Price's arrest as she exits the house with her hands raised. Handcuffed and distressed, she explains to the police that the house belongs to her aunt and uncle, and she's staying with them. The situation highlights the collateral damage inflicted on innocent individuals caught in the crossfire of a police operation. Remarkably, one of the videos reveals the police officer's awareness of the innocent occupants of the house. An officer is heard asking, "Is there just one chick in there and a baby?" Another officer responds, "Yes, so. The target was at school." This exchange underscores the critical point that the police had information suggesting the absence of the intended target, yet proceeded with tactics that endangered the lives of the innocent mother and her child. The incident has prompted Mayor Brubaker to request an investigation by the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, not only into the events of the raid, but also into the process of obtaining the search warrant. The released footage, while providing clarity on the execution of the warrant, raises fundamental questions about the justification for such a forceful approach in a situation where the target was not present. Jennings, speaking on behalf of the family, has announced plans to take legal action against the police department. The trauma inflicted on Waylon and the distress experienced by Price during the raid demand a comprehensive review of police tactics, warrant acquisition processes, and the safeguarding of innocent civilians during law enforcement operations. As the family prepares to move to a new home, the incident in Elyria serves as a poignant reminder of the potential consequences when the balance between executing law enforcement duties and protecting the rights and safety of citizens is disrupted. In the quest for justice, transparency, and accountability, the investigation initiated by Mayor Brubaker becomes a critical step towards addressing the concerns raised by this disturbing incident. Cops take out transgender Nashville school shooter Audrey Hale. In a horrifying incident that shook the community, bodycam footage released by the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department exposed the dramatic and intense moments when officers confronted mass shooter Audrey Hale. The footage sheds light on a tragic incident that unfolded at the Covenant School, a private Christian academy, leaving 3 9-year-olds and 3 staff members dead. The video captured officers Rex Engelbert and Michael Colazzo navigating the hallways of the school with urgency and precision as they responded to reports of an active shooter. The officers, clearly aware of the danger they were confronting, could be heard shouting, "Shots fired," as they rushed towards an atrium on the 2nd floor. As they turned the corner, the bodycam footage revealed the chilling confrontation between the officers and Hale, the 28-year-old mass shooter. Shots rang out as both parties exchanged gunfire, creating a chaotic and terrifying scene within the confines of the school. The 10 seconds culminated in Hale dropping to the floor, ending the immediate threat. The aftermath of the shootout captured officers cautiously approaching Hale's motionless body, issuing stern commands to ensure the safety of everyone involved. Hale, armed with 2 rifles and a handgun, did not survive the confrontation, leaving a trail of devastation in her wake. At a subsequent press conference, Metropolitan Nashville Police Chief John Drake disclosed troubling details about the shooter's background. Hale, legally possessing 7 firearms, had purchased the weapons from local stores, 3 of which were used in the massacre. Chief Drake revealed that Hale was undergoing treatment for an emotional disorder, a fact unknown to law enforcement. The police chief did not provide specifics regarding the nature of Hale's emotional disorder, leaving many unanswered questions. A source close to the Hale family mentioned that the shooter was autistic but described as high-functioning, though the police were unable to confirm this immediately. The revelation added layers of complexity to the investigation, raising concerns about mental health awareness and firearm access. Hale's identity further complicated the narrative as the shooter identified as transgender. Chief Drake mentioned this detail in an earlier press conference, emphasizing that the motive behind the attack was still under investigation. Hale used male pronouns and the name Aiden on social media, providing a glimpse into the complexity of the shooter's self-identity. Surveillance video captured Hale adorned in a red hat, military fatigue pants, and a dark vest, casually stalking the hallways before the police arrived. The footage highlighted a level of premeditation, suggesting that Hale had meticulously planned the attack. The shooter gained access to the school by shooting through glass doors, initiating a reign of terror that claimed innocent lives. The victims were identified as 3 9-year-olds, Evelyn Deekhouse, Hallie Scruggs, and Williams Kinney, along with 3 staff members, custodian Mike Hill, substitute teacher Cynthia Peake, and headmaster Catherine Kuntz. The devastating impact of the tragedy left a community in mourning, grappling with the loss of young lives and dedicated educators. While Chief Drake did not immediately reveal a motive for the massacre, he acknowledged the meticulous planning involved. As the investigation continues, questions linger about the intersection of mental health, identity, and access to firearms. The heart-wrenching events at the Covenant School serve as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by law enforcement and communities in preventing and responding to such tragic incidents. Prolonged knife attack on police in London's West End. In a chilling incident that unfolded in London's bustling West End, Mohammed Rahman, 25, attempted to steal a phone, setting off a harrowing chain of events that culminated in a prolonged knife attack on police officers. The assailant has now been convicted of attempted murder, shedding light on the bravery of law enforcement in the face of imminent danger. The episode, which transpired on September 16th last year, began when Rahman tried to snatch a phone on Shaftesbury Avenue. However, his brazen attempt was thwarted and he managed to escape with only a power bank. Realizing the threat posed by the armed assailant, the victim promptly alerted the police, setting off a dramatic pursuit through the vibrant streets of London's West End. Dramatic bodycam footage recently released by the Metropolitan Police vividly captures the intensity of the police chase as officers relentlessly pursued Rahman on foot. The footage unfolds like a tense thriller, revealing the dangerous pursuit that unfolded in one of London's popular tourist districts. The pursuit took a grave turn when Rahman, armed with a knife, launched a vicious attack on the officers. One officer bore the brunt of the assault, being stabbed 5 times during the confrontation. Another officer sustained serious injuries while a third required medical attention, highlighting the gravity of the situation. Chief Superintendent Louise Pudderfoot, overseeing policing in Westminster, acknowledged the severity of the incident, emphasizing that the officers' injuries could have been far more catastrophic without the prompt and commendable support provided by their colleagues. The initial first aid administered by officers from Specialist Firearms Command proved crucial and potentially saved the life of one of the officers involved. The released bodycam footage paints a stark picture of the aftermath, with an image capturing one officer's arm soaked in blood, serving as a visual testament to the perilous nature of policing duties. Chief Superintendent Pudderfoot commended the bravery and selflessness exhibited by the officers, emphasizing their unwavering commitment to facing danger to protect others. The 2 officers who suffered severe injuries had only recently returned to frontline policing after serving with the Met Police for a couple of years. Rahman's conviction at Kingston Crown Court encompasses charges of attempted murder against 1 police officer, grievous bodily harm with intent against another officer, assault, 2 counts of threatening a person in a public space with a knife, and possession of a knife. Additionally, Rahman was convicted of robbery involving a member of the public. David Malone, Deputy Chief Crown Prosecutor for CPS London South, acknowledged the shocking and horrific nature of the incident, commending the courage required to be a frontline police officer. He expressed condolences for the injured officers and praised the Metropolitan Police Service for a meticulous investigation. The severity of Rahman's attack prompted an investigation by detectives from the Specialist Crime Command. The body-worn video footage, a haunting record of Rahman's prolonged assault on the officers, played a crucial role in building a strong case against him. Charged the day after the incident, Rahman will face sentencing on December 8th. The conviction sends a resounding message about the consequences awaiting those who resort to violence against law enforcement. It underscores the dedication and resilience of police officers who risk their lives daily to maintain public safety, and it serves as a stark reminder of the challenges they confront in the line of duty. Siblings navigate a nightmarish ordeal amid police camera misuse. In a harrowing tale that spotlights the misuse of police body-worn cameras, siblings Louisa and Yufiel found themselves embroiled in a 2-year legal battle after being accused of assaulting and abusing officers during a Black Lives Matter protest in London in May 2020. The subsequent legal proceedings brought to light crucial body-worn video evidence that had been withheld from the siblings, exposing a shocking abuse of technology intended to enhance transparency and accountability in policing. The Black Lives Matter demonstration outside Parliament, initially peaceful, spiraled into confrontation, leading to a clash between protesters and police. The incident, lasting just over a minute, would forever alter the lives of Louisa and Yufiel, who were arrested, charged, and thrust into a legal quagmire. Both siblings maintained their innocence, insisting that the police had assaulted them. Mobile phone footage shared on social media captured snippets of the chaos, showing Louisa's head being pressed into the ground and Yufiel being struck by a male officer. The turning point in their ordeal came when they discovered the existence of body-worn camera footage that contradicted the accusations against them. This critical evidence, however, was not initially disclosed to either of them, plunging them into a bewildering legal battle. "I kept thinking, I'm not going crazy, I know what happened. I saw the officer punch my brother," said Louisa, as they grappled with the emotional toll of the incident and the subsequent legal proceedings. The BBC investigation, which uncovered this disturbing case, revealed the systemic failure to handle body-worn camera footage responsibly. The unreleased video footage, a crucial piece of evidence, was finally made available to Louisa and Yufiel, unraveling a narrative starkly different from the charges they faced. The footage depicted Louisa being pushed to the ground by a female officer and Yufiel being struck by a male officer before being pulled back by colleagues. This visual testimony contradicted the official accusations and underscored the need for transparency in policing, especially when technology designed to act as an independent witness is involved. The Met, in response to the revelations, acknowledged errors in the disclosure of evidence in Louisa and Yufial's case and issued an apology. Despite this acknowledgement, the legal proceedings persisted. Louisa deferred her law degree for 3 years, fearing prosecution, while Yufial lost his job, a testament to the far-reaching consequences of the misuse of body-worn camera footage. The case of Louisa and Yufial illuminates the challenges individuals face when seeking justice against accusations of police misconduct. The lack of transparency in disclosing video evidence, a cornerstone in modern legal proceedings, casts a shadow on the integrity of the criminal justice system. As the siblings navigated their 2-year nightmare, they endured the emotional and professional toll of being entangled in a legal battle that could have been mitigated with the responsible use of technology. The trauma inflicted by the incident, compounded by the failure to disclose vital evidence, serves as a poignant example of the consequences when the principles of transparency and accountability are compromised. Their acquittal, while a victory, does not erase the hardships endured during the legal battle. The Met's acceptance of errors in evidence disclosure does little to alleviate the profound impact on Louisa and Yufial's lives. The story of Louisa and Yufial calls for a renewed emphasis on responsible use and disclosure of body-worn camera footage. Their ordeal amplifies the need for external oversight and stringent accountability mechanisms to ensure that technology designed to enhance transparency does not become a tool for concealment and manipulation. In the face of the ongoing debate surrounding the misuse of body-worn cameras, the narrative of Louisa and Yufial serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost when technology intended to uphold justice falls short of its intended purpose. Their story underscores the imperative of fostering trust between law enforcement and the public, anchored in transparency, accountability, and a commitment to justice. As we conclude our journey through the Bodycam footage documentary Iceberg, we've delved into the disturbing, the shocking, and the deeply unsettling incidents captured by the lens of police body cameras. These stories, both hidden and revealed, remind us of the complex realities within law enforcement. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening exploration into the depths of the iceberg, where the unseen stories leave a lasting imprint.